I'm Jeff Talman. It's an honor to be here. I appreciate your interest. You're in my neighbor in a great American city, Knoxville, Tennessee. I ran for mayor 2 years ago because I thought it was pathetic that we have a vacuum in this community of common sense, conservative, confident, enthusiastic, assertive voice for what we all know is the common sense right in front of us. And I say conservative because, as the British philosopher Edmund Burke said, being conservative means that you resist the whims that people have for all sorts of crazy things in government. And do we see that in our community now? Look at the whims all over the place, and that's what we're gonna resist enthusiastically, cheerfully, courteously, but in a principled way. I want to salute my neighbor there, Lindsay in South Knoxville. The defeat of the amendment last fall is one of the most important things in the history of Knoxville, I predict. Because what it does is, my view is that we too narrowly define diversity in our community through the narrow prism of race. And my view is in our community, we have incredible geographies in history and class and culture within those geographies within our city. So this is a chance to understand geography in a much more dynamic way. And I refuse to look at my fellow citizens through the prism of race. It's immoral, it's illegal, and it's boring. That's the biggest thing, because we are far more interesting than being stuck in a box based upon our immutable genetic characteristics. For the last 50 years, well, 50 years ago, if you look at the way in which the city was defined from a risk management standpoint, from a residential lending standpoint, a lot of the center city was considered a no-go zone, high risk, redlined. So for the past 25 years, living in an urban neighborhood downtown, I've dedicated myself professionally to open the door for capital for the revitalization of the parts of the community that the leadership had abandoned for the most part, and that the banks basically said was a no-go zone. And so I basically said, screw that. I have enough confidence in my neighbors and in the inherent value of these neighborhoods that have incredible proximity to downtown, built with the greatest timbers that God ever grew from the forest, on sidewalk neighborhoods like where your grandfather delivered newspapers. This is common sense. And people say, oh, Talman, you're an urban pioneer. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. You know, only in Knoxville can you be an early mover in a late blooming town. Come on, let's go. We know that these are good people, good neighborhoods, and look at the community that we're building. And it's really quite exciting. I live in the 4th and Gill neighborhood. I have for 40 years. I'm renovating my 3rd ground up renovation in the neighborhood, 5th house I've lived in. I know Center City, but I also know the region, and I care about the neighborhoods. Let me just say right off the bat, I'm emphatically against the sales tax increase. Did I say I'm emphatically against the sales tax increase? For 2 reasons. There's the what and the how. So let's talk about the how. So the mayor gave a lovely address at the stadium, and everything was rosy, finances were great, and then the council had their first reading, and then at a hastily called press conference on the eve of the 2nd reading, oh, we need more revenue, $50 million. And so this is how it got to the 2nd reading and passed. Now this is, before I get to the what, let's stay on the how, because if you were a member of city council and you had that sprung on you after you had already voted on the budget, would you not be furious? I mean, think about that. You just hung out council to dry. So, but the reality is, that's how pathetic the strength of our legislative body is in Knoxville. And I think, and I would disagree slightly, I don't think that it's inherently coming at the expense of the executive. I don't think it's inherently a zero-sum game. I think in some ways it strengthens the community across the board, but the legislative body needs to be emboldened and stronger. I was in Lexington, Kentucky not long ago. They've got unified government. We're not going to go there, but they've got a Republican female mayor, and all their budget initiatives come from the city council equivalent. So, but anyway, we've got the last 5 years in our country. If you're a wage earner, you've been screwed. If you own assets, your property's doubled in value. You've done okay. If you're a wage earner, if you're a person of modest means, if you're a fixed income senior, an older person, inflation the past 5 years has crushed you. You have nowhere to go. And the contempt to basically to go shake down the citizens for anything additional. And we know the difference between the budget address and when the mayor presented the need for the sales tax increase. That tells us everything we know. The money that she wants is basically all discretionary in nature. These are not gotta-dos, these are wanna-dos. Yet the wanna-do money is gonna come off of the back of gotta have money people. So this is really a matter of, I think it's a matter of cruelty, to tell you the truth, in terms of what our fellow citizens have put up with. My view is, I'm a business-minded person. You generate the revenue needed to run your community from activity. Activity, that's where you generate it. And so the reality is, we've got a system right now, if it's so constipated in terms of getting a permit or just making common sense stuff happen. If you were to go to get a permit for your birdhouse, they'd make you put a bicycle rack out in front of it. It is so crazy. And so we need a common sense approach. There's views in the community and my opponent who basically view that we need the city to do this and the city to do this. My view is the city needs to figure out how little they can do. And for just about everything the city does, they create distortions that make it more complicated, more expensive, and have the effect of chasing out little guys and people of modest means. So I'm here to try to bring about a revolution in thinking in our community where we have common sense people running the show.
Very good.